Public concerns. Go ahead, BJ.
A couple things. One, I'm going to keep it up on everything, and I guess I got a couple of questions. One, for the motorcycle weekend, I know that it was on, too close to 4th of July this year, so some people were saying so, and I know you have to get the approval of when they can really have it in the chamber, all the events. And I guess my question on that is, I believe that originally it was supposed to be scheduled the off-shoulder seasons to help with the whole event, and it wasn't supposed to be like on graduation weekend or close to Columbus, any of the other holidays. So I was just, and since you all have the final say of when something happens, not when somebody makes a decision when it should be made, I didn't know what had transpired, if anybody had made decisions on that. I'm sorry, I hadn't kept up on what was going on.
You mean regarding next year?
Next year.
Yeah, that's already been
Has it?
approved for next year, hasn't it?
And it's going to
Maybe
be on graduation weekend again?
Mhm.
Okay. Is there any way we can review those to see that we don't have like on village days where it's
So that it's not.
supposed to be, they were originally supposed to be shoulder seasons, to extend the shoulder seasons originally is what was brought up.
Right.
I'll just bring it up.
Yeah,
ask
no,
questions,
that's something that we could,
you know, look at.
that I could talk to Sue or Mary about.
Okay. And I also would like to, I was down with Pirates, and I'd like to thank the police for all they were doing. I watch them every weekend late at night, and it's not an easy job, and I'd like to thank them for Pirates for all of their help and all the agencies that were responsible. And the village for taking care of trash and helping so much, so thank you. It ended up being an awesome event. I think everybody was very, very happy. All the businesses, I don't think there was a business that possibly could complain at all about how everything went. So
I didn't hear any complaints, so I
yeah,
think.
especially
it
with
was-
this economy the way it is, I
Yeah.
think we had an awesome summer with the people coming around.
I think so. Thanks. Any other public concerns?
I know not the last meeting, the meeting before when the island people came, you were going to coordinate with the school board in the town. What's the status of
Well,
that now?
I've spoken to Dale and I've also spoken with Mr. Wagner, and neither one of them at this time are interested in the meeting because they feel it's a village issue. So I forwarded all that information that Mr. Petrofeza brought to our meeting off to Mr. Gibo to see what his, what sort of direction he can give me on it, because I really don't know what to do with it or what to give them for an answer. So I'm waiting to hear from him. So as of right now, it's just between, and I've spoken to Mr. Petrofeza in the meantime, so for right now, it's just a village island issue. So nothing has happened as of yet. I suspect that Mark will forward something on to us.
Will a decision just be made with the village board and the attorney, or will village residents be allowed to put input into that?
Oh, if any decision is going to be made, it would be put back on the agenda. I don't know what decision there is to be made. I have to wait and hear from him. I don't even know how you would allow that for island owners and not for seasonal residents, and then you're reassessing everybody's taxes. So I would have to wait to see what he says, but of course, the community would have input in it before any decision was made. Thank you. Alex?
Yes, there may or may not be discussion in the future in reference to shows at the pavilion up here, but I thought it might just be timely for me to suggest and even request that the members of the board go up to the pavilion this weekend for our semi-annual craft fair and see, in fact, what kind of things are being sold. I don't think you need to be an artist or a craftsman to recognize what's handmade by the person standing there and what is not. Once upon a time, there was a time when there was no craft fair here. It was probably 25 years ago. I was on the committee at the time, and we asked the chamber asked the board if we could have a craft fair there. And it was to be a juried craft fair, and slides were to be sent in about their work and then checked against their work when they arrived. And there's at least some people out there that believe that that has morphed into something different. And I believe the village board ought to revisit it as far as what it has become, possibly, and what they would want it to be, because I think it's part of the village's responsibility to protect the merchants downtown from having vendors come in town that are in fact not craftsmen or artists, but just that, vendors, because it's supposed to be a craft show. It's billed as a craft show. So whether this becomes an issue in town or not, I don't know. I've asked for several years for this to be reviewed. I've more or less given up on the Chamber of Commerce policing their own, because I think it is actually their job to protect the businesses downtown. As a matter of fact, it says so in their charter, whether you're a member or not a member of the Chamber. But I think that you're not going to be in a position to discuss it or have a decision or an opinion on it unless you go up to the craft fair and look around and see for yourselves what is in fact handmade and what in fact is handmade by the people present. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And not just this event, but all of the events that have vendors at the pavilion. There are some questionable things going on up there when there's an event, and I think that some of the merchants get upset when they see what's going on, and it's just sort of sprung on them. There's no forewarning, and I also have worked with the chamber. I'm on the board of directors, and it's like talking to a wall sometimes. So as a village, we need to be protected. The businesses downtown do need to be protected against people coming in and selling just for the weekend.
And I will say that Russell's been very diligent about any event that goes on at the Park Pavilion, about being a presence and just making sure what's going on. And I'll go this weekend. I'll take the girls down and we'll walk around and see what's sold. So,
Thank you.
any other public concerns? Go ahead.
Every day we go by Miller Street, Walton to Miller Street, Walton to Miller Street, and you never know who's going to be around the hedges and who's going to be right there. And today, when people just kind of like think it's a big giant parking lot, and people don't realize that it's not a parking lot, that there's a road in between. And then also trying to come out of Miller onto Walton. We discussed a couple of times putting a large mirror or doing something, because you can't see, so I didn't know if this board was able to have had that discussion and figure out what we could be doing there to make it a little bit more safer.
You mean where the hedges are?
How the hedges are, because you can't see around the cars in that corner. There used to be a long time ago, I thought it was a mirror, like really when I first got to town in the 70s, that there was a mirror there, but I could be mistaken. And that you could see at least a little bit coming there.
I remember we discussed it, and maybe taking away one of those parkings, but I remember that we had discussed it.
You want to take away the parking spot right straight across?
I
So
think
give you a
that,
chance to get off the corner. You know how the one's right straight across from the,
Catholic Church side.
right on the Catholic Church
Yeah.
side, that one right there, that is the biggest pain of the whole
To try to
corner.
get there. but-
Try to get there to turn that corner, because the next car back, you can't make your swing out to go this way. You can nudge out and go the other way because there's cars there, but that one spot that's a
But you
bad,
can't see the cars that come up past there, you can't see looking around the corner this way here. Some of the people, the trucks can look around, but when some of the regular cars, it's just a safety issue, we're kind of concerned about that.
right, maybe that's something Critter and
It's
Greg.
going fast.
I know Ronnie dropped them down some, but they're not, unless
Right,
you got a high car, you're not gonna see all of them.
right,
There's no way you're gonna see all them hedges,
okay.
unless you got something that sets up.
And one other little thing, when you're coming down Walton Street and you're going onto Market, it says one way. Some people have asked me, does that mean the whole street's one way? I mean, we all know what the one way is meaning,
Right.
but when they come around the corner, they all of a sudden think it's a two-way, one-way street, two-lane, one-way street. So I guess, I mean, all of us definitely know we don't do it blindfolded, but I've come out loud.
Oh, you mean when you turn onto Market Street?
Yeah, when you're going from Walton to Market,
Oh,
the big
gotcha.
sign says do not enter, but underneath says one way. So I understand it's one way because you're not supposed to go that way. But some people coming around this way think, oh, now I'm on a one-way street. It sounds crazy, but
Like Market Street is one way.
they think that Market Street is one way, but now you've got two lanes to turn down that way.
I think that-
Because,
That whole area down there, it's been marked and remarked, and you still see people going the,
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know how you do it without Do you understand what she's saying?
I do, but I mean, I don't know what you do. You got arrows
That's-
coming
yeah,
off the
that's-
corner off this way, you got arrows coming off the corner going this way.
That's
So, I mean, unless we put,
Police chief.
Why does that need to be?
Look at some
unless
marks.
we put some lines, put a solid center line down the road. You could put a solid corner line, you know, like a,
Why don't, I'll bring it up to
split the street, I guess
Jim
that's the
Marshall
next
and
one.
have him look up some trafficking patterns and see if he can come up with maybe something that he thinks is a better idea. Better idea than what we have there for signage. He might know of something different.
You know what used to happen is they had a one-way sign where the Legion was, and that came down. And then that kind of started screwing people up. When they came out Market, which you go that way, Legion took that sign down, or somebody did. And then after that, people turned right all the time. So,
Okay. Any other public concerns? I have no correspondence. I'll take a motion